you only have 10 healthy offensive linemen this spring. Is that a hindrance for you, or is it something that you can turn into a positive?
Well, only 5 can play, so I mean, I'm too deep, so it's time to go to work, right?
Okay.
But you know, you'd like to have a few of the guys that are injured, but it is what it is, and we'll move from there. But no, that doesn't stop the way we work. That doesn't stop the way we two spot. It just means some guys have got to double up some.
Well, considering some of them are young, haven't played much, can this be helpful for them in learning the way you want your new system
run?
Well,
I think, you know, everyone's kind of at scratch, not just because we're new and it's a new start. I think because they haven't done exactly the terminology we're using. The plays are called different things, and so it kind of has put even the guys that have played a lot kind of behind a little bit, if that makes sense. So it's kind of, you know, all 10 of the guys that are working, whether they played a lot or not, are new to what we're doing. So, you know, I think that, you know, with 10 guys, the fact that they're getting every rep, that probably helps, but it's going to help the older guys just as much as the younger guys right now.
Obviously it's early, but how's the adjustment been with you learn new players, the players learn a new system?
It's different, you know, when you recruited a whole group of guys and been with guys for 4 or 5 years, you know, you kind of, you know, there's things you take for granted sometimes, and you know when you're installing things that, you know, the guys that we're doing it with right now, they haven't gone through a couple of years or even the freshman a season of running the plays that we're installing. So, you know, there's things when you go into spring ball with guys that have been around you that they're able to go back to the season as you're installing and pull, you know, things from their mind that remind them of stuff. And here we don't have that right now because everything's new. So that's been, you know, starting from scratch for me with those guys also. So that's been different. And then also I'm sure there's some feeling out a little bit on how we are and that type deal. And you know, the bottom line is football's football. Football players are football players, and they've got to compete. And it's a tough game, but played by tough people, and the guys that will get it and be the ones that contribute for us are going to be the toughest ones.
When I talked to you earlier, you talked a little bit about the fact that, you know, terminology, you might switch it for you more so for them. One guy learning new instead of 15. Does that help them in their process?
Yeah, I think so, especially in the run game stuff that we've got in right now. But a lot of the calls up front are the same things. You know, but they're new plays, but we've been able to kind of at least take our calls to match our plays with what they call the same blocking, the same combination, the same like that. So the guys are able to kind of trigger a little something that they did before, and that's been a help.
The other adjustment you made, and you talked about before, they had it. You bring a zone blocking scheme with you. It's a little bit different than what they ran last year. How big of an adjustment is that actually for these guys?
You know, I mean, a little bit. We insert the fullback a little bit more than they have in the past, and we still do a lot of the same things that they're doing right now. You know, it's hard right now to tell. You know, we did a good job in the fourth quarter with guys. You know, you saw a lot of mental toughness, and now we got to see physical toughness, and it's kind of tough when you run around with just helmets on. You know, the collisions are minimum. So you know, I mean, we'll be able to tell a little bit more about that. But they've done a nice job with that. We've just got to pick up the way we practice, the tempo, the no huddle, and getting after it more at a higher pace and doing it more and more and more. Here we go, put it down again, let's do it again. We've got to get that kind of attitude going. We're not there yet.
And with the no huddle, you need an offensive line that can think quick on its feet.
Got to be able to think, so they've got to learn what they're doing, be able to think. They don't have a lot of time to get it going, and then they've got to be tougher than the opponent. They've got to be, hey, let's put the ball down again and let's go get it. And we're not there yet. So we got a long way to go. So, but we'll get there.
So when you talk about being that tough physical run team, do you mean when it's 4th and 1 and they know we're going to run it, we're still going to get it type thing?
To win a championship, you're going to have to be able to run the ball when they know you're going to run it. Number one, you're going to be ahead of games if you're going to win a championship. So you got to be able to finish games. You got to be able to score in the red zone. You got to be able to keep first downs going with short yardage. So you've got to be able to run the ball when they know you're going to run it to win a championship. And to do that, you got to be tough. And it's not just the line. It's the fullbacks. It's the receivers finishing downfield. It's the running backs finishing. It's the quarterbacks getting us in learning what to do and get us in the right plays with the checks and combos. So that's our goal. We're going to be a balanced football team. We're going to be a team that can do both run and pass to whatever's the best of our advantage. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to be able to run the ball to win a championship.
With the insertion of a second back with a fullback, does that alter what your offensive line has to do at all? They talked a little bit about it was a change. It didn't sound like it was big, but what does it change up front with knowing that you got that other guy coming?
Well, I think it's not as big a change as, I mean, it's a little different. You're inserting a guy, but there's times where he's got force and it's he's out of the box, and it doesn't matter if he was there or not. There's times he's blocking away from the play. So, it's just a matter of learning what we're doing, learning the scheme we're trying to do, and then just executing.
Have you been impressed with the football IQ in that meeting room?
There's a handful of them that do a good job. They pick up on it quick, but at the end of the day, it's a little bit different in a meeting room, and that's all we've been able to do. And when the bullets start flying and the tempo starts going fast, you start having a lot of guys that were smart inside aren't as smart out here. But that just comes with time. That comes with doing it, and to really be. You have to do it over and over, and you have to be able to do it when you're tired. Anybody can do it when it's either warm or in the air conditioning inside. It's out here when there's a big guy in front of you sweating and punching you in the face. Now can you think, so that's a little bit different.
You mentioned that, when you're tired. These guys are obviously going to be tired with only 10 of them going.
Yeah.
That could be a benefit for you, especially in terms of the fourth quarter program.
Everything that Coach talks about, everything we're going to be is we're going to win in the fourth quarter. We're going to be tougher than the opponent. And the only way that we can be able in September and October and November to be tough in the fourth quarter is to put ourselves in the fourth quarter right now. Okay, so the fact that those guys are going to have to get a lot of reps and do it at a lot of fast tempo, that's only going to make us better when there's a scoreboard in the fourth quarter. So,
what can a Jake Bennett, Finley, the injured guys, what can they get out of
Finley's
watching?
Not as far along right now. Jake is like actually today, he's going to have to get a lot done in walkthroughs. He's going to have to get a lot done in the meeting room. He's going to have to get a lot done on his own time because he's not able to get the live reps right now. But today we got him in and he did all the walkthrough reps. He got every walkthrough rep, so that was kind of his assignment, his practice deal. So it'll be a lot better when we get him back. He's a guy that's got a lot of experience and played. So,
is that encouraging that he did that? I mean, do you have hopes that he could be ready to go opening week next year?
I hope so. So and we'll see. And obviously that's Terry and those guys will handle that. But at some point he's coming back. So you want him to get reps and you want him to have a feel for it, because it is offensive line especially is a repetition deal, and just doing it over and over until they can do it in their sleep. That's when you become pretty good.
What's your philosophy when working with your offensive line? Do you like guys focusing on certain positions, or do you want guys that are versatile?
In the past, I've been a guy that's mixed them around a bunch. That's been a little bit when you have a little bit more familiarity with the guys. So I mean, like right now, we'll move some people around a little bit when we come back as far as getting them in some spots. But and the philosophy is you want to work them out here through spring and those type things where if someone goes down, you want your next best player to go. You don't want, if the sixth best player is the left tackle and the left tackle is in the whole season, never gets hurt, you don't want your sixth best player just sitting on the bench. So you got to be able to work guys where you always have whoever's available, the best five are up. So guys will move around for that because you can't predict the injuries, you can't predict those type things. So we'll move them around when we get back.
Okay. But right now it's just more teaching,
trying to get right now with the system being new. I'm trying to keep them as much as we can in the same deal.
Okay.
Imagine the last couple months has been a whirlwind for you. Has it been nice to sell into football and?
Well, it's what I do. Right it's fun to get to do kind of what you do, but no matter. I've always felt this way. You kind of go through recruiting, and then you're trying to get ready for football season, and you finally get out there, and you're like, all right, now I'm coaching. So that's been it. It's great, but I love it here. It's a great place, and the people have been good, and we just gotta keep getting better. We're a long way from being where we need to be, but we got to keep working.